Okay, there. Now you can hear me. There we go. Got it. Got it. There we go. Now I can be heard. I didn't click. I think I clicked it one too many times. I got it. I got it. We're good. We're good now. Let me see. Hold on here. Trying to get yeah, that's good. That's a good thumbnail. There we go. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Winston's bad. Jameis just lost a job. Where was the pig? I know. Leave Jameis in Ohio. There's a lot. I'm gonna give my opinions of the game first, and then I'll try to read some of your comments. I'm sure the chat's gonna be like blazing by insanely quick, but that's okay. Hope the Petercast guys watched Winston today. Yeah, yeah. First thing I want to talk about is Jameis Winston, obviously. That was bad. That was bad. That's whose fault? Jameis or Dirk? Oh, it's Jameis Winston's fault. This is Jameis Winston's fault. Defense choked away the comeback. We shouldn't have had to make a comeback like that. Jameis Winston threw a pick six. He didn't throw that pick six. You know, Bucks should have won. Absolutely. Jameis had 4 picks. Can't have that. I mean, defense, yeah, they had their moments, but the defense was tired. You know, they were out there for so long because Jameis. He didn't have a good game. 4 interceptions. That's horrific. He did have a passing touchdown, which is fine. And he threw for a lot of yards, but those 4 picks, that last pick, you could tell he was just shocked, you know. Like his confidence was shot is what I mean. Technically, if Canzaro made the PAT, we would have won. Nah, Ethan, don't start. Don't start. There's a lot of small things you can blame, but the big one's Jameis Winston, you know. I made a joke with my dad about Jameis Winston being traded tomorrow. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. It's rough, man. It's rough. 4 interceptions. You just can't do that. You can't do that. David, you're asking who I wonder who the quarterback will be next week. I'll answer that in a second. Russell DeBoss. There you go. How did that field goal take 6 seconds? I don't know. I don't know. When I saw the penalty, I was like, oh, I hope it's on the Bengals, and it wasn't. So, you know. Bengals going to trade somebody, or Bucks going to trade somebody. Maybe. I don't think DeSean Jackson's getting traded. They might trade for somebody, possibly, but I don't know. I don't know. They might trade for an offensive lineman. Jameis Winston's colorblind, couldn't see the players. Rocco can fairly criticize someone, and I still get pissed off. I don't know why, Ethan. It's okay. It's okay. Actually, you know what? Yeah, rest in peace to Winston's career. This is something I want to say. Jameis Winston threw 4 picks. That wasn't good. Ryan Fitzpatrick came in and played very well. And that was awesome. You know, that was great to see. He obviously brought us back. I don't want this to happen, but it still might happen. This is going to be an unpopular opinion. I still think Jameis Winston might start next week, and that's not because I want him to. That's because of the fact that these coaches still will probably start Jameis Winston over Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what I think. That's just what I think. I don't want us to start Jameis next week, probably. But I think that's what's going to happen. Fire the coaches. That's what I mean, is the coaches are so tied to Jameis that I don't think there's a lot of things that will prevent him from being the starter next week. Fitzpatrick looked great. Fitzpatrick should be the starter. Do you actually believe Tampa will get rid of Winston? No, I don't think so. I don't think they'll get rid of Winston. I mean, I joked that he would be traded tomorrow, but I don't think it'll happen. The coaching staff is so tethered to Jameis Winston at this point. It just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't look like they're going to get rid of him. For how, you know, the coaching staff's tied to him, you know. Let me read some of the, it's a tough loss. I just remember when Jameis was the number 1 overall pick. Yeah, Mike Evans had one hell of a game. He did. Trade Jameis Winston to the Cardinals for Patrick Peterson. I wish they would. We need Tua. Is that not the guy from Alabama? Is it from Alabama? Or I think he's from Alabama. What would they get for him if they traded him? I don't know. So Mike Evans is good. Mike Evans is so good. He made a couple of fingertip catches there that looked amazing. James, read my recent. All right, I'll have to. You'll have to repost it, David. There's a lot going on. There's 84 of us here talking about this, getting our frustrations out for this game. This was obviously a very easily winnable game, if not for Jameis's 4 interceptions. I can't stress that enough. Winston's pick 6, yeah, that wasn't good. They probably should have taken Winston out sooner. They probably should have taken him out after the 3rd interception, but they decided to leave him in. He threw a pick 6, and just didn't happen, you know. Jameis Winston for a 2020 7th round pick. Yeah, Jameis arguably lost us the game in this one. Not arguably, he didn't do very good at all. 4 interceptions, man. I think they scored on 3 of them, including that pick 6. So it's rough. Do I think there's a chance for the playoffs? I still do. But my confidence just tanked for Winston. You know, I've been a strong Winston supporter this year, despite everything. But this has just been brutal. So my confidence has been shot for Jameis. I'm sure Jameis's confidence has been shot in himself. The O-line didn't do good either, not just for Jameis, but for Fitzpatrick as well. That's why I think the Bucs might trade for a guard tomorrow, possibly. It's so bad. We keep on playing from behind. It's been the story of this year. We keep on having to play these games from behind. Can I go back to Jameis after that? No way. Corey, I know. It's something. Actually, hold on, Corey. Corey, do you want to hop in, Corey, and talk about this for a few minutes? I'd love to get your take on it. But like I said, I know in our minds it's easy for us to say, oh, we can't go back to Jameis Winston. But I mean, ooh, I don't know, man. The coaching staff I think that they're so tied to Jameis. He might start next week. I don't know. Beninock's pretty bad. Beninock's really bad. We need to get a new right guard, or even try Alex Kappa. Why don't we try Alex Kappa? I thought all things considered, the defense played good. I thought all things considered, the defense played pretty good. Carlton Davis, I thought, had a good game versus AJ Green. I mean, AJ Green's just absolutely amazing. So there was some obvious plays where he would just get beat. But I thought Carlton Davis played good, all things considered. Tyler Boyd, I talked about this in the live stream with the Peter cast I did. I was worried about Tyler Boyd. He didn't disappoint. He had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Also, Joe Mixon was Joe Mixon. I like that Mark Duffner actually made adjustments. That makes me a lot more confident in Mark Duffner and his ability to be a long-term option for the defensive coordinator position. He's doing pretty decent. JPP got 2 sacks. He's going to have at least 12 sacks this year. I'm telling you. Nassib's good. Nassib's been our best signing probably this year so far, at least in terms of low-tier signings. He's been really good. And I think the problems with the defense in the first half as well was just a matter of the offense not being able to get the job done, you know. Jameis Winston's interceptions were bad. Like I said. One of them obviously being a pick 6. That doesn't help anything, but it just tires out your defense. You know, whenever you keep on turning the ball over, you keep on getting your defense out there, they're going to be exhausted, and we kind of saw that a little bit. Trade Jameis to the Jags. You know, who knows? I'm not going to say whether or not that's the best thing to do or not, but, you know, who knows? I joked about him getting traded tomorrow. Who knows? It might happen. Kick the kicker. Hey, he only had... I'm going to stop defending the kicker. Everybody hates me whenever I defend the kicker. He only had 1 missed extra point. It's okay. But there you go. Turn around, bed is on fire. No, it's fine. There was actually a fire. Pigo for quarterback. Young Trey quit spin. Oh, there you go. We can win like this. Fire the coach. Oh, we can't win like this. Fire the coach. 100 people watching. Welcome, guys. Thank you. That's awesome. To quote Charles Barkley, "Terrible, terrible." I'm sure. James, why were you on my Twitter account? Because that's what I'm about, man. That's what I'm about, Ethan. We need Patrick Peterson and David Johnson. What did you guys think about the running game? Adam Geddes to finish the season at quarterback? I'm down for it. Hey, why not bring Adam Geddes back and play him at right guard? Why not? Why not, man? You know? Why not? Peyton Barber had a good game, I thought. I thought he did pretty good, some good stuff. He had a lot of powerful runs, as he does. Again, I can't say it enough. I mean, the offensive line didn't do any favors for the quarterbacks, and then Jameis Winston, his confidence is shot like this game. What I not loved, but what I thought was just so interesting is that even on the national scale, the commentators and even the people at halftime and even some of the Bucs media were just bashing Winston, you know. And last time we saw that was very recently with Mike Smith, and things didn't end well for Mike Smith. So who knows what's going to happen with Jameis? His future with the team's in doubt. Definitely. It's definitely in doubt. Corey's trying to call me. Hold on. There we go. Let me see here. Let's see. There we go. Look at that. Hey, Corey. How are you?
Fitzmagic's back, y'all.
He is back. Corey, how are you?
We just need to stay humble, and we can do this. We're going to have, what was it, 9 straight wins?
Right.
4 with Fitzpatrick at quarterback. I'm all in. Let's do it.
There you go. Corey, how are you today?
I'm actually sad. I'm really sad.
All things considered.
Oh man, I wasn't gonna jump on with you because I've got to write the video, but I usually do an immediate reaction video. I've been doing that a couple of weeks now, and I was like, you know what? I'd rather just hop on and chat with you guys instead of doing a reaction video, and I can do the fully produced one later this week because I feel like a lot's going to unfold over the next couple of days. So,
right. We have over 100 people talking with us, so we have plenty to talk about, Corey. Obviously, the first thing to talk about is Jameis Winston. Corey, what do you think about that?
Dude, I don't know. I've been, this is my fault, guys. Okay, so years ago, I bet a friend that Josh Freeman, and this was, I think, Cam Newton's first year, Josh Freeman would see the playoffs before Cam Newton would. Right. And then Freeman fell apart. This year, I made a bet to my boss that Jameis Winston would see a second contract in Tampa. So
stop betting, Corey.
Yep, it's my fault, guys. I'm sorry. I've ruined Jameis Winston's career.
Well, I think stop betting. It's my one suggestion. I like the getup, by the way, the Fitzmagic. When I saw you have it on it was the last night you had it on, or was it this morning?
It was last night at a Halloween party last night.
That's what I thought. I thought you were going to a Halloween party. And did you just put that on now, or did you have it on for the whole game?
I actually had it on. So I worked today, and we had wore costumes at work today. So I had it on today. And I was like, you know what? This is fitting that I'm wearing this outfit today. It could not be more fitting. But anyway.
Well, Corey, we have like 120 people watching right now. And I want you to give your thoughts on Jameis Winston, because I gave my thoughts briefly, and I wasn't impressed. And I feel they should have taken him out after the third, arguably the second interception. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the second was too soon. I mean, he's your starting quarterback. The reason you started him over Fitzpatrick is because he is the starting quarterback. So you can't have such a quick hook with Jameis. He throws interceptions, and he has a history of coming back from throwing bad picks. This was not one of those games, so I understand leaving him in after the second one. Now after the third one, that was when I was like, maybe they should pull him. Right. And so, they left him in one interception too late, and obviously that last one ended up being the difference in the game. So, I'm pissed off. I'm sad, like the rest of you guys are. I hate that it happened because I feel like it gives a lot of affirmation to the Twitter trolls and the people who have been hating on Jameis since he's been drafted. Suddenly they're coming out of the woodwork. And those of you intelligent fans know that he actually has not been as bad as people make him out to be. He has been on an upward trend dating back to last season, and he's looked as good as he ever has at the end of last season. And he's too emotional. And I said this on Twitter. This is my theory. This is my working theory on what's happened to Jameis Winston. He is an emotional guy, right? So this thing happened to him where he caused it to happen, whichever, where he got suspended for 3 games for an off-field issue. He clearly thinks he's innocent, and I think that's gotten to him. And I think he wanted to jump in and light the world on fire and wanted to prove everybody wrong and have the season of his life as kind of an answer to that. And I think he's been forcing balls. I think he's reverted to college Jameis, where he thinks he can just put the whole game on his shoulders, and he's trying to make things happen. And when you have a guy that is that emotional, you're going to have those emotional swings and ups and downs. And now it's a matter of, do we want to have that guy leading our team? If that is true, do we want to have somebody like that cannot keep his cool leading our team? And honestly, it's great if he can make it work like Brett Favre. It's not if he continues to do this. So there's that. I'm not going to definitively say he should or should not be the quarterback of this team, but I do think that for the rest of the season, we need to just go with Fitzpatrick, because this offense is completely different with him on the field.
One thing I thought was interesting and actually, fun fact, somebody just pointed out to me in the comments that right now Jameis Winston leads the league in interceptions.
Yep.
He did not play the first 3 games of the year.
3.5 games.
Yeah. That just speaks for itself. But talking about the interceptions and like what you said is the thing that sucks about the interceptions the most is how just much they fell right into the defender's hands.
It was right. They were all horrible.
Right, and he just looked. Jameis's confidence was just absolutely shot. He had poor field vision. Even the one I don't know if you saw, it was probably the worst one. I think this one was even worse than the pick 6. Was the interception that fell right into the linebacker's chest.
Yep.
It was on a bootleg, I believe, and you could just see on the sideline, like what you said, Jameis being an emotional guy. He looked like almost on the point of tears.
Yeah.
Regularly, they would keep on going back to him, and he just looked so melancholy, disheveled, whatever you want to call it.
Well, a key thing here is, how does the team feel about it? It looked to me like this team was energized once he was benched, and that looks bad for him. If the rest of the team is done with him, then there's no coming back from that. There was rumors about DeSean Jackson asking for a trade this week. And we all assume it's because Jameis never throws to him and can't connect with him. And when he does throw to him, it's a miss. Which it's so funny that Jameis finally did connect with him on a deep bomb this game.
Yeah.
But if it feels like in that locker room everybody is looking towards Fitzpatrick and looking away from Jameis, it's a done deal. You got to sit him, and we have him for his 5th-year option. Maybe he just needs to sit and think about things for a while and then see where we are in the offseason, if it's a new coaching staff or whatever it is.
What I thought was interesting is like what you said, the team kind of came alive, and I was watching the game, and I even said to when I was watching the game, I said, isn't this funny how not only the offense but the defense comes alive too? That second half defense was really good, all things considered. Yes, the final drive was rough, but as soon as Fitzpatrick came in, this team as a whole, which I thought was interesting, came alive.
Mm-hmm.
On the sideline, you did see Jason Pierre-Paul talk with Jameis Winston, which I thought was interesting. I'm sure they didn't show it. I hope there were more people who came up to Jameis Winston and were supporting him. But like what you said, who knows at this point?
I'll give some credit here to Jameis, because speaking of him on the sidelines, I think old Jameis would be kind of whiny and depressed and he was dejected, but he was a little bit more somber. And he had sucked it up. He was standing out the whole time, watching that he didn't go to the locker room. and go sit. She didn't. He stood there and took it, and then congratulated his teammates on the field when they scored. Like, was still rooting for him. So, I mean, that shows a little bit of maturity there. But I think some credit should be given to him there. But
right, and you know, like what you were saying, I don't think that Jameis is gonna be gone from this season. He'll have all of next year too, if not because of him being, you know, so tied up with his coaching staff. You know, if they get rid of Jameis now, or you know, it's gonna be seen as a colossal failure by the entire front office, coaching staff, everybody involved. You know, so these guys, and that's what makes me think that Jameis might even start next week.
Yeah.
I know it might not be the best option, but if there's one thing I've seen from Dirk Cutter, and you know, especially from Dirk Cutter, he's stubborn. When he thinks that he can fix a problem, or you know, he'll do anything he can to fix it. You know, and it takes a lot. Look at Mike Smith. You know, if Dirk thinks he has his mind on something, you know, he gets pretty, you know.
Well. This may not be all Dirk's decision here,
right?
As was the Mike Smith thing. So
right, I'm interested to see what happens. Maybe the Glazers step in, because I mean, again, that's Jason Light's guy too. Jason Light drafted him number 1 overall, so
and that's why you know, people on the chat are talking about trading Jameis for this or that. I mean, he's not going to be traded, because that's Jason Light trading Jameis Winston unless he just gets full skull from it. Like, we're talking another franchise quarterback and picks. I don't think he's going to do it, because that was Jason Light's very first pick. And so if Jameis goes, so goes Jason Light. I mean, I feel like if we have yet another failed franchise quarterback, I don't see how Jason Light can survive.
Right. And I think like for Jameis, you know, you'd have to have 2 first-round picks to start the conversation of a trade, you know.
Yeah, and no one's going to trade for that. I mean, look at how he just played. Like, his stock has never been lower. So
especially mid-season. You know, Jameis is going to be here. Him starting next week, I don't know. I mean, the right move is to start Fitzpatrick right now. If not because of gameplay-wise, just because Jameis Winston's confidence. You know, just have him sit, you know, even if it's for a week, you know, sit him down, just calm down. You know, you had a really bad game. You know, his confidence, he looked shot. His confidence looked shot.
Well, as it should be.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and you know, somebody said here in the chat, let me see, I'm trying to find it again. Stephen Thomas said trade Winston to the Raiders. Now, if we swapped Jameis Winston for Derek Carr, how would you feel about that?
Now we're playing Madden or fantasy football or something. But I mean, sure, why not? I mean, okay, you know, I mean, I think Ira Kaufman said it best on Twitter when he said, you know, Jameis's future with this organization is very, very much in doubt.
Yeah, very much in question. And you know, one thing, and I joke about the Raiders thing, but my wife turned to me and she was like, "What happened? Like, why do you think Jameis all of a sudden has just looked terrible?" And why does Fitzpatrick look better? Like, what's the difference? And I think what it is, I don't know, but I think what it is this offense better fits Ryan Fitzpatrick than it does Jameis Winston. I don't think we play to Jameis's strengths. A lot of deep drops, a lot of 7-step passes, and lots of different reads. I think Jameis just needs something different. He needs a little bit better of a quick passing offense and more less of a downfield passing attack. So
right.
That's what I think, and that's my theory. So, and if that's the case, then okay, either Jameis has got to go, or we bring in a head coach who is, you know, an offensive guru like Sean McVay and completely turns things around. But yeah,
well,
I mean, just those aren't just anywhere.
I'm scared because I don't want there to be this gigantic restart. You know,
Nope.
And we're 3 at the end of the day. We're 3-4. We're only 1 game below 500. You know, that's still in contention for a wild card spot, all things considered.
Yeah.
But man, if this season continues to go with these playing from behind games, you know, we could easily see a restart of not just the quarterback position, but the coaching staff as well, and even potentially the general manager position. I know Jason Light signed a 1-year extension, but who knows? Who knows? We could see a complete restart, and I don't want to see that because I don't want to see a rebuild.
We've been through that so much.
Yeah, we've been, and I'm hoping they can turn things around. There's obviously not a lot of mid-season solutions to this quarterback situation besides just putting in Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're not gonna. People are saying sign Colin Kaepernick and whatnot. It's hard to sign a quarterback and have him come in mid-season, and
no, a quarterback coming in mid-season will not make any type of difference this year.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen.
Right. It's just a thing that we have to roll with. I hope that Fitzpatrick starts, because it's unfortunate because the weapons are there. We saw what would happen with Fitzpatrick and all the great all the great catches that were being made by Godwin, Jackson, Humphreys even had a good game this week, and so did OJ Howard, and so did Mike Evans, and Peyton Barber was even running the ball, well. So it's just like, oh my gosh, the weapons are there. We just need to fix this quarterback situation, and I think this is going to be crucial. What happens this next week, because you have to pick a guy and stick with him. You can't keep on doing this wishy-washy switching quarterbacks each half or each week. You can't do that. You have to pick a guy and stick with them. So whoever's our starting quarterback this next game could arguably be the starting quarterback for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think if you make a switch now, if it goes to Fitz, then it stays him until he gets injured. Like, I think that's the only way you go back to Jameis, which is horrible for Jameis. But people should not also be. I'm not comfortable with Fitzpatrick. Remember the Fitzpatrick cycle. I mean, as soon as he earns that starting spot, he's capable of throwing 6 interceptions in a game before. He's done that before. He's done exactly what Jameis did. So it's not like Fitzpatrick is Peyton Manning is going to save us. He might be in this offense. We haven't seen him be that horrible in this offense, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is also capable of a huge stinker, and that's how he's become a journeyman quarterback. I mean, was it 3 years ago? He threw 6 picks or 5 picks, something like that.
All right. So. Right. Now that this game's over and tomorrow there's probably going to be a lot of stuff happening tomorrow, Corey. It's not in terms of people getting benched or in terms of people getting fired. I mean, in terms of people getting traded, because tomorrow is pretty much the last day before the trade deadline's up. Do you see the Bucs making any moves, possibly for an offensive line? Because the offensive line was really not good this game.
Beninock.
Yeah, right guard Beninock. I mean, do you see them trading for anybody?
I hope so. I hope so. That's all I can say. I don't know why. It just baffles me we keep Beninock out there. I mean, Evan Smith is not great, but it's constantly Beninock that's letting passers right by him. Right. And that did not do Jameis any favors. And not to give excuses to Jameis, that was all him. But, man, yeah, I hope so. But if not, I mean, even with Beninock in there, even the way the offense currently stands, this team is talented enough and capable of winning games.
See, yeah, that's the worst part is when I look at this team, and I even said this after the win versus the Browns, is like this team looks like it could be a wild card playoff team in the right situations. When they're not absolutely melting down due to their own errors. It looks like a playoff team. The defense can be solid. I think it was solid for the most part in this game, minus some certain stuff. I think that the defense was pretty tired because of the lack of offense in the first half. I don't think that helped anything, but like the defense is finally starting to come together. It all just matters about the defense is starting to come together. Sorry, and it all matters about the offense coming together now and not having so many turnovers. And
the turnovers are particularly killer. And again, I tweeted about this, that the fact that the defense has not been able to force turnovers themselves has been a whole other issue. They figured things out and they've stopped teams and they played well enough to win today and last week. So not taking anything away from this defense. They definitely are so much better than they were. But man, how great would it be if they just had that Keith Tandy game-sealing interception when it mattered the most? That was missing.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I wish they could bring Tandy back, but he's on the Falcons right now. Eh, I don't know, man. This is a deflating loss, and it just makes you question a lot of stuff, you know.
Well, speaking of we Bucks 3-4 in 2016 when they ended up 9-7,
Right. So there you
or
go.
were
I
they 3-5? I can't remember what the record was before they went on that win streak.
think they were 3-5.
Yeah, so there's still definitely, I mean, there's definitely still hope, and I think that's why you got to keep Fitz Magic in, because he is that hope right now. We have yet to have a complete game on offense, defense, and special teams with this team, and Dirk really wants it because he's mentioned that multiple times. So that's our best bet. Winston is too inconsistent, and we need a guy who's been consistent all the way through so far. Got to run with him.
Yeah, I know.
By
Anyway,
the way, we just asked if my chest hair is real, and yes, this is mine. So,
oh my goodness.
that chest hair is mine.
Well, just taking a quick a quick look ahead. I believe we play the Panthers next, correct?
Unfortunately, and they look like they're on a roll. So,
Yeah. So that should be interesting. Another hard defense. Panthers
yeah.
defense isn't bad. It should be interesting to see which quarterback starts. Do you think the Bucks are going to trade DeSean Jackson?
I think it's definitely possible, especially if he requested it. Now, if he's like, "Hey, I want to trade or start Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick,"
Yeah.
who knows what he's asking there? Who knows if that report is even true? That came from Ian Rappaport, who's usually dead on.
Right.
And I think it was Brent from Petercast who brought up the whole Patrick Peterson situation. It might be DeSean's agent that has put feelers out there in order to get the calls going, which would mean ergo DeSean Jackson wants to be traded. But you know how that ended up with Patrick Peterson sitting down with the GM and saying, "Hey, okay, I'm here to stay." I can imagine the Bucks did or are maybe are doing the same thing with him, because I think with Fitzpatrick in, I think he adds just an element to this offense that is irreplaceable. So
Right.
the fact that he can blow the top off a defense just at any snap, and he did even when Fitz missed him. I think we need him. So I would be shocked if we traded him again, unless there was just somebody blew our minds with an offer.
Well, that was another thing I wanted to say was literally pretty much the same time it was reported, DeSean Jackson wants to be traded. Another report came out saying that the New England Patriots, my, one of the Bucks' favorite trading buddies, came out and said that a report came out saying that the Patriots are interested in getting a high end like a high end wide receiver. And they're willing to give up high end draft picks to get that wide receiver.
Yeah, but a Patriots high-end draft pick is basically like their first-round pick is basically the second round because they're always in the Super Bowl. So like,
would you take a Patriots first rounder for DeSean Jackson, or even a second rounder?
oh, a first rounder, yeah, maybe. Again, second rounder, considering it's the Patriots, I don't know. I'd be iffy on that. I know Light really values those draft picks, even though he sucks in the second round, apparently. But
Hey, Justin Evans, he was a second round pick.
Yeah, he was. You're right. Well, and so was Ali Marpet and Donovan Smith. But
Roberto Aguayo.
But again, if we're talking Patriots here, so that's bottom of the second.
So it'd almost be a third.
Yeah, it'd almost be a third. So, which is great to get from an old wide receiver. But the fact that Dirk's fighting for his job here, why would they trade that away when they're still technically in contention for playoffs, and they could possibly get things together? So I don't think that's worth it personally. I don't think they would think that's worth it.
Right. The only way I would see a trade like that happen is if like Jason Light just goes renegade, and he almost kind of throws Dirk under the bus, and it's just like,
yeah,
like I'm building for my future, like something like that, because Jason Light has an extension, and he at least still has some credibility. He's still, you know what I mean? He's made some good picks. So, and he traded for JPP. That worked out pretty well, right? So, he still has some credibility, and he might just absolutely screw Dirk. That'd be the only way I'd see something like that happening. But how
about this? We trade DeSean Jackson for Steven Gostkowski.
I'd be okay with that. Why not?
That would oh man, that would, I don't even know what I would think of that, because it's like trading a huge talent for a solid kicker. We're that desperate for a kicker, or we're thinking of trading away our fastest wide receiver for a kicker.
Right. Yeah, no.
But if they threw in if then they threw in the second round draft pick, I would be more open to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Corey, do you have anything else that you wanted to mention? I know we talked about the offense and all the things that came with that. Talked about the defense. Carlton Davis, I thought, had a really good game.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the defense, man. Duffner made a difference. We didn't think he'd make an immediate difference, but he has. Now, this defense isn't a top 10 defense quite yet, but they are competent, and that's all we've asked for.
If they're top 20, I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if this offense is as explosive with Fitz as it has been in the first, 3 games or first 2 games, and then this game. Um, I think, and then Jason Pierre-Paul. How huge was that trade? You mentioned it. I mean, like 2 sacks today, and he is the core of this defense and this team. He's like the only person on this team that is like, yeah, I'm elite, and I have a standard that I'm going to hit. And if I don't hit that standard, some heads are gonna like. He has that mentality, and you just don't feel like you have that from anybody else on the team.
Right.
So I'm so glad that he's there influencing the locker room right now. He's being a huge leader. So, I mean, major props to this defense. I know that they gave up. It's going to look on the stat sheet like they gave up 37 points, but there was one of those was a pick six, and then the rest were short fields for the most part. So, and also, they gave up the deep pass to AJ Green on, at the end of regulation. But it's AJ Green. You can't fault them too much for that. They played their hearts out. So.
Right.
We should have been in that situation to begin with.
That was exactly my point. Was the defense played good, all things considered. The offense did not help them. I love how everybody in the chat has just been blasting trade Jameis, trade Winston, just continuously through this entire live stream up to this point.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. Still don't think it's gonna happen, but
no, I don't think. And the big thing is, I don't think a team wants him. Like, I'm sure a team wants him, but I don't think a team would give us the return that we should be able to get from a first overall pick. And somebody who does have, regardless of how he played today, Jameis still is very talented and has the talent and has shown he can be a winning quarterback and has shown he can be an elite not an elite, but he's shown he can be a very good quarterback. He's definitely not Josh Freemaning right now. If he were to leave this team, I think he would do well to another team. So,
right.
They are not the same person. I hope nobody's drawing that conclusion.
Just to entertain the chat, however, hey, the Giants said they're having a fire sale. The Giants, they might need a quarterback. Maybe a little Landon Collins for Jameis Winston action.
Man.
Little Jacksonville Jaguars, they need a quarterback. They just benched Blake Bortles recently.
After what they went through with Bortles, there's no way they're going after another inconsistent quarterback.
No, they're similar. Probably not. But hey, who knows? The Giants are out there. I'm sure there's a couple of other teams out there who might need a quarterback. You never know. Maybe New England trades for the successor to Tom Brady. You don't know. We don't know.
Could you imagine the emotion that would be in New York with Jameis Winston missing Odell Beckham on deep passes? Like, can you imagine the circus that would?
It would be miserable. It would be absolutely miserable. But yeah, man, I don't know. It was a rough loss. Tugging at my heart. Do you guys have?
I saw that you were sticking up for the kicker. I mean, should we sign Santos now, or?
He only missed 1 extra point. He made all of his field goals. He made all of his other extra points. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with Chandler Catanzaro, the big cat.
I wouldn't say nothing wrong. He's missed 3 extra points in a row, or 3 games in a row. So
right.
I think that's an issue. And those other 2 games we were chasing points because of him and fell short. So I won't say there's nothing wrong with him, but I definitely think we need to look for an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how fluid kicker situations have become in the NFL, I wouldn't be surprised if they potentially got rid of him for Cairo Santos. A lot of people want Cairo Santos anyway, so. Like fan-wise, so wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of small things to fix, and then then there's Jameis Winston.
Then there's the big.
Yeah, my Jameis Winston confidence meter has gone all the way to the bottom for right now. I'm kind of hoping for some fits, possibly. We'll see. But Corey, is there anything else you wanted to mention here before we head out of here? We've been going for about 40 minutes now.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of final thoughts with Winston. I'm right there with you. I've been I've been a staunch supporter of his because I do believe he has shown on film what he's capable of. And we've always said that you deal with the turnovers because the big plays and the are enough to make up for it. But he has shown today that we might be wrong in that assessment. And I don't blame anybody. I mean, it's fair game. He's fair game right now. I don't blame anybody on the coaching staff for making a decision to bench him. I wouldn't blame Jason Light for trading him. I don't think that will happen, but I honestly, at this point, it's fair game. Whereas before, I'd be like, what? Pfft, ridiculous.
Right.
So, I honestly, and I know a lot of you guys might feel the same way here. I take this a little personally just because in Atlanta specifically, I have been sticking up for Jameis Winston for the past 4 years. And it's almost as if Jameis has spit in my face and just completely made me look like an idiot. And, maybe that's my fault. I don't know. But I'm tired of having I just want to see a quarterback get a second contract, man. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, I know. No, same with me. Even from the start of this year, I've been a strong supporter of Jameis, and he's not making it easy on people who have been supporting him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's even worse in living in a division rival city,
right?
In a division where every other quarterback is playing out of their minds in Hall of Fame level. So
right. Well, Corey, I want to thank you for joining me on such short notice. I think we've talked about pretty much. I mean, this is pretty much just ranting about Jameis Winston versus Fitzpatrick at this point. But I mean, that's what it's all about right now. That's pretty much what this team has been hanging on since the season started. That's been the story of this team since it started this year.
Yeah.
So it's just it doesn't go away. This is going to be the story of this year. Is maybe we should have went with Fitzpatrick for these other couple of games, or who knows? Who knows? But it should be interesting. I'm sure we'll have a lot more stuff to talk about, especially with Monday being the trade deadline. Who knows what will happen? Jameis Winston versus Fitzpatrick, who's going to start next week? All the press conferences. I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about. Corey, do you have any final words here before we head out?
I'm going to be shooting my video tonight. I've been kind of in the rhythm of releasing them Tuesday nights, but with the trade deadline on Monday, if anything happens, I might need to delay it. So Tuesday or Wednesday will probably be my recap video. And we're going to talk about all of this. So look forward to the conversation going throughout the week. It's going to be a long one.
It should be a long week. It should be interesting. I want to thank Skull Tags Films for the super chat. Thank you for all that. And actually, thank you to the 120 people who were consistently watching us grumble about Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston. It's greatly appreciated. It's a tough loss, but we got to look forward to Carolina now. There's a lot of positives for this team. Okay, I haven't lost hope. I still think we're a wild card team. Still think this is a wild card team.
That's very possible.
Just got to get that quarterback situation fixed. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. And, myself, Corey, the play reaction, you can go check out the play reaction. Corey, if you want to go ahead and say something in the chat so people know where they can find you. We're going to be talking about all things there. Should be a busy week. We'll have a lot to talk about. And, as always, I want to thank you all for watching. See you guys soon in the next live stream or the next video. But until then, and as always, goodbye for now. And go Bucs.